So, in terms of videos coming out, about a week ago, I released something that was called my first summer workout. And it was about like me going to go to practice, and I couldn't, and then I was finally able to. And I just had a brief summary of like, yeah, I'm tired, I'm exhausted, yada yada. But that was like a brief explanation about how I felt, whether and rather than just what happened. So I'm not used to the kind of conditioning that they have at Bellevue than at Forest. Because at Forest, we did stadiums for conditioning before practice, like spring practice started, and during spring practice we really didn't run unless it was during actual plays. That was the only type of running we did. So I'm thinking, you know what, it's not going to be that bad. We're going to have like 110s or gassers, nothing that bad. Well, Bellevue has this hill. It's at the end of the football field. So before practice even, before summer workouts even began, we go out there for 30 to 40 minutes and just run up that hill. And it's a steep hill, right? At first I was doing okay, like, this isn't that bad. Then we had to do back pedals up the hill, and that's when I went downhill, because I can barely back pedal as it is currently. And going up a hill, I don't have like the balance for that. So I fell a couple times, and then that's when instead of going like halfway up and then jog down, we had to go all the way up to the hill. I was like, dog. And like I was barely doing that. I could barely do that. And then we all had to run up halfway through the hill and then take like a tiny little break, run down the hill, take a break for 9 minutes. He said it was 9. It felt more like 15. That's just me though. And at that point I was gassed. I was aching. I needed water because I need water. I constantly need water. That's why I'm like, during workouts or conditioning, I go to the water fountain because I need water constantly because my body sweats so much. Y'all know I sweat a lot. So I was trying to get some water, and they were saying, "Nah, we're toughing you up. These boys aren't like they're at Forest or whatever." No disrespect to Forest, because my first school. I just think that it's much different out here at Bellevue than it is at Forest because of these reasons. Forest really didn't condition or barely conditions compared to Bellevue. They've been doing this since January, and we only conditioned at Forest for like 2 weeks. And I don't know how the summer workouts are this year at Forest. I'm gonna have to ask somebody because I can already tell you they're nowhere close as what they do at Bellevue. Like, I was so tired. Like I said it in that video, I said that around 6, right? And I went to bed. I distinctly, or whatever the word is, remember, because I'm filming this after I woke up. I took a 4.5-hour nap. I went to go take a shower, come back. I still got a headache at this point, So after conditioning, we go inside. It was leg day. So I said, okay, we're gonna do some squats and stuff, We my station, it was with two other offensive linemen. We start off doing squats. I'm like, my back's killing me because I hurt my back last season, right? So all that running up the hill and down the hill, doing all of that caused my back to hurt. I just went to go get some water and change out of my cleats into my shoes because that's all I could even do, basically. So I'm getting my water. I come out, I do a little bit of squats, Then we go over to the hang cleans, nothing too crazy. Then we go do lunges. Then we do one-legged squats. And at this point, I can't even do a one-legged squat. I could barely do the regular squats as it was. So I did it without the bar because I was falling over as it was, I'm not used to any of that. So so I did that without the bar, and they're saying, "All right, clean up." I'm like, shoot, we done? Nope. We went over to get a 45. We go up on the wall and we do wall sits. 1 minute wall sits. I'm like, dude, this is crazy. After that, they told us to drop the weight. So I'm like, okay, so now we're done. And then they say, planks. I was like, okay, I could do a plank. So we do our planks for a minute. I didn't have any problems. And they say, wall sits, wall sits. I was like, dude, really? So we do wall sits for another minute. At this point, my leg is shaking, my right leg. Because I did not know any of this was going to be happening. So we do that. Then we lay on our backs, hands behind our head, and we raise our legs up 6 inches off the ground. At this point, I'm dead. I'm just dead. So we do those for like a minute and a half. I can't really tell. And then they said final round. I said, okay, what's after this? And then I'm like looking around. I'm like, it's gonna be wall sits, isn't it? Then the coach yells out, wall sits, wall sits. It's like, dog. So I'm holding the weight. I'm doing that just so then, because if I hold both of my arms up, I'm gonna fall. So I'm holding it on my left leg. Both of my legs started trembling at this point. I didn't fall, but I was hurt. Then they say drop the weight, push-up position. I was like, we're finna do push-ups. No, we just did planks in push-up formation. That I could do. And I was like, okay, workout's done. Nope. What happened next was we had to do a squat competition, I would say. There were 6 different bars. Oh, yeah, there's like 6 different areas, 3 of them have the 35 and 45s. One has a 35. The other 2 have 10s on it for like the much smaller guys. They put me at 35, and I was like, after today, yeah, I need it, because I was hurting. And we did the competition. The guy in front of me, I think they had 35s on, actually, so it was like 45, 35, 10. So the guy in front of me, he's just staring at me like, dog, what? So I'm like staring at him, and at that point, I was like, okay, I'm looking away. He eventually has to tap out after like 16. I'd go to 25, honestly, because like at that point I just couldn't. I was barely keeping afloat, and I just put my rack down on the rack. I just said put my rack down on the rack. I put my bar down on the rack and get up, and wait for everyone else to get done. That's when practice was over. Until I went to the locker room. You know, everyone's going to the locker room. I take off my shirt, and then Landon, he's the first guy that greeted me. He's saying, "Yo, bro, put your shirt back on." I was like, "Okay, what we doing?" So me, the two guys that I was working out with, and Landon, right? We go out onto the field, and we're doing 110s. I was gassed at this point, but it's like whatever, you know. So we do 110s. We go down. That's 1, back 2, down 3, back 4. In 2 weeks from today, which it will already be that point, I believe, when the video comes out, we're going up to 6. 2 weeks after that is 8. 2 weeks after that is going to be 10, you know, and so on. I know that tomorrow we're doing cardio because yesterday, whenever I wasn't here, we did upper body. So tomorrow, as of this recording, like June 3rd, so tomorrow, June 4th, it's gonna be cardio day. So all that plus cardio, like the mountain running, plus the cardio, I'm gonna be dead. And I know I'm gonna be dead. I should probably take Tylenol, but I don't know if I want to at this moment. That's all that really happened, you know. I'm trying to stay committed. I really want football to go well. Like this is much different. And I just gave a brief little summary. That made me tired, hurting, aching. I could barely walk as it is right now because it was all that. And after when I take this Tylenol, I'm probably going back to sleep because I don't even know if I want to be up. I should probably get some more rest. And that's just my side of the first day of some summer workouts. I'm done, exhausted already after the first day. I know whenever I go my thing and come back after a week of break, I'm gonna be just as terrible as I already was. So there's gonna be that. If you like my little summary, please consider liking the video. It helps me out. Subscribing wouldn't hurt. You could always unsubscribe in the future. And I'll catch y'all boys.